Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
This Apple chart is starting to look ugly here again. I know you wrote that piece yesterday, Joel, on how it failed to get above its 50% retracement level, and its reversed course. Had an ugly day yesterday, down in the pre-market again today. Pandora disappoints. Facebook is going to be joining the Nasdaq 100 on December the 12th. And we're going to look at some key technical levels in the Big 10 of the S&P. Joel, what do you think of this Apple?
Well, I did start to run into some problems there ahead of the old psychological $600 level. Didn't see a lot of news associated, with the stock yesterday. I mean, there's always a lot of news, but nothing specific here. I just think you're getting a little profit taking. I mean, well, we were at 505.75 only a few days ago, or last week, or actually on November 16th. So you're getting a little profit taking. I just look for this to peel back, not try and pick a bottom at it. Our next major support levels down a little bit at 562.60.
Yeah, this is a scary looking chart now. Obviously we've had the run from, and interesting enough, if you look at this, 5075 was the low. And then, well, if you just go before that high that it set just 2 days ago, 594.25 was the high, which was exactly $5.75 in either direction from the big number, from the 500 and from the 600. Obviously, we got a little bit above that on December 3rd at 594.59. So about $5.50 away from the big psychological 600, and we were about $5.50 away from the big logical or psychological 500. So just interesting that we fell 5.5 points away from those big numbers in both directions. Obviously the stock has reversed here. It's ugly this morning. We're down another $7 here, Joel. 568.30. The S&P's up 4, so Apple just trading by itself right now, not dragging the overall market down with it, at least yet.
Well, yeah, for you longer-term players who feel like you missed the run-up here from 505 to 575 to 594 and change, if you're looking for a pullback here and kind of going back to the old 50% retracement here, 50% retracement of this move here would take us back down to the 550 level. So patient longs and people that will have a target for the shorts, besides this 562 level, we're looking at 550 even.
Facebook going to join the Nasdaq 100, and it's getting a lift on that news this morning. 2808, it's up 2.5%. Is this going to make a run here for that 2888 high that we set a couple days ago?
I still think it's going to 29.50 on this run.
You do, eh?
Yeah. Just to hurt some people at 32. You got to figure there's a lot of people short the 50% retracement there. Reference point on the upside, 27.76 is yesterday's high. We're trading above that, so that's going to be minor support. 28.88, the high of the move. I guess it's easier to look at the support in this thing. You had 3 lows between 26.68 and 26.98. Finally broke that monster string of 8 consecutive higher lows. You knew that was going to come to an end. But longer-term players, keep an eye on yesterday's low, 26.68, is a possible exit point on weakness.
Yeah, I'm not loving this chart here, though, just because it did have the first day where it made a new low there yesterday. And we're getting a bounce here on good news going into the index and everything. But I think these people that are all coming in banking that, okay, well, now we're definitely going to 30 or above 30. I just don't know. I'm feeling like if we don't get above the 28.88 today, I think the stock could have a little bit of trouble. So I'd like to see it get above 28.88 if I'm going to be bullish the stock, but I don't know. I'm almost leaning towards using that 28.88 as a reference point and trying it from the short side.
Just remember, I didn't like the J.P. Morgan chart at 31.
No, I shouldn't let you live that one down when I wanted to buy the thing, and Joel's like, nah, it's going to 29. Now it's at 41, so... Joel, you cost me money on that one. Netflix, what a day for that yesterday. Stock obviously taking off on that Disney news that they're going to be allowed to show the Disney movies shortly after they're in theaters, and I don't know, that just seems a ridiculous move to me. The stock popping over $10 on that yesterday. It is giving back a little bit here this morning. It's down $1.38.
We got a couple reference points here with the Netflix. First of all, you had your good buddy, the Carl Icahn move. I own 10% of the company at $60, and it rallies to 80. So you had that big move. You got a high there on that day when that news came out. It's 79.65.
Actually, it was 84.95. That
Yeah,
was the
that
big pop.
exactly. You're right. Yep, 84.95, and then you just had some digestion of that. Made some lows in the 70, right around 75. Now you're getting another pop. I'm still keeping an eye on this 85.50 area. That would you had 85.50 high, 85 back in July, and also another high at 86.65. So that seems to be the major resistance. And then if you go all the way back to April. You had a high at 88.59. So we're running into some trouble here coming up on the $90 level. Looking at the pre-market, we did hit a high at 88 even, and now we've settled back, found some
That got
mild
to
support
88 in the
here.
pre-market or after hours last night. Wow, I didn't know it got that high.
Yep, yep. So let's keep an eye on that.
Couple mattress makers getting laid out here. MFRM is the one with the news. The stock's trading down $7. They actually came out with earnings. They beat by a penny, but they're lowering guidance. They're supposed to make for the next year a buck 67 to a buck 73. They're saying it's going to be down around $1.49 to $1.52 now. That's got the stock significantly under pressure last night and this morning. And obviously TPX, which is another mattress maker, which we've talked about on the show before, that's trading down $1 on that MFRM news.
First looking at the pre-market chart, you got an immediate drop here, the 23.50 level. You made a low at 23 and a quarter, so you're kind of getting a rounding bottom here. I'm not saying you should run out and purchase a stock, on the open, but just use that 23 quarter as a reference point. Going back to July of 2012, you had a low at 22.82. So keep an eye on that $23 level. What are people buying water beds or something instead of mattresses? What's going on here? Is there some kind of spread here that we could buy a water bed company and short the mattress
It's a
companies or what?
recession, Joel. They're sleeping on their couches or they're sleeping on the floor. They can't afford mattresses here. We got all these tax. We're going to have the fiscal cliff, don't forget, so you got to cut out mattresses. Those aren't needed anymore. Tempur-Pedic actually trading down here too, Joel. Maybe you want to do a quick technical on it too. 26.42 is where it's down. It's down a buck.
Yeah, this thing obviously got lit up before this stock, long ago. 25.60 was the low in the pre-market. You've got to bounce up to this 26.40 area. I mean, this thing's trying to put a bottom in. Did hit 20.94 back in June and just kind of worked its way back up to 35 and then got it beat down again. But I see major support in this thing at the $24 level. Had a 24.02 on November 15th.
Couple other ones I want to highlight here. We've got MMR getting rumored that FCX might be interested in acquiring them. This stock is trading up significantly on this. I mean, this is a heck of a move here, Joel. Stock's at 1270 right now after closing at 846. So on 1.5 million shares. This is crazy.
Who's thinking of
The rumors are Freeport McMoran might make a bid for him, and I mean, I don't know if this is actually coming out here now or not, but FCX actually trading down on this too, so maybe this has just been announced and just breaking
I
FCX. It,
I don't know. This smells to me. This really does. I mean, look at this. You had this stock trading at $13 a few weeks ago.
it's slaughtered.
Falls off a cliff from 12.74. Falls under $8, goes to 7.25. It has a couple days of rebound, and now it's back at 12.60. I mean, it seems to me someone bought a boatload of stock here under $9, and they're kind of manipulating the wires to get out of it. I don't. I smell a rat in
I've
this
got to
one.
think this has got to be more than just a rumor here, though, because FCX is trading down $4 on this too. So FCX trading at 34.50 right now after closing 38.28. So I've got to almost think this is more than a rumor here. There's got to be something substantial because the stock just doesn't pop like that just on a rumor. It's got to be something more substantial
Yeah,
here.
but stock also doesn't drop off,
No,
$5
I
in
know.
6 days, and then make a bottom and then all of a sudden come back,
The
come
whole
back up
thing.
through here. But yeah, the
Yeah.
whole thing, the whole thing. If you're long this MMR, I'd be looking at the pre-market high at 1285 as resistance. I don't put a lot of faith in things like this.
What about FCX, just for a quick technical, because that is getting absolutely slaughtered here today. I know you had some lows back in September around 34.65, in more support around 34, so it's bouncing back up now 35. How low has this thing just got just now?
Oh, it just spiked down to 34.43.
Okay,
So we'll keep an eye on that.
crazy.
You did identify some good lows. You had a 34.86 low, 34.65 low in August. So call that whole 34.50 area where we're currently trading. As support, I mean there is some volume associated with this, so maybe something. But I guess the people that are hitting the stock are saying, anybody that buys a company with a chart like MMR, deserves to get
This actually
slaughtered.
gets slaughtered.
I said, there's the
That's
only plausible explanation I have for that.
Waste Management is WM getting upgraded at Goldman. They're also initiating WCN. So Goldman looks like they're starting to get bullish, these waste companies. This is a stock that just quietly doesn't do a heck of a lot. It's got a nice yield, 4 or 5%. Obviously, one of those dividend plays that we've been talking about. We don't know if the tax rate's going to go up on dividends or not yet. But the stock is getting a lift here this morning.
Yeah, I mean, here's a heavily traded stock. Basically, it's not that heavily traded. It trades a couple million a day, but you have it up 50 cents on just a couple thousand shares in the pre-market. Pre-market high of 33.16 should act as resistance. If you go to the chart, you had a 33.13 high on November 2nd, so that coincides with that level. After that, if it can keep the momentum going, don't see much up until the 33.40 level.
AIG getting upgraded at Argus. This is a stock here that has put in 3 or 4 days of very similar tight ranges
Yeah.
here. Looks like it's winding up to do something. Obviously, it's trading near the top of that range here again at 33.59. This thing can start getting above this 33.60, 33.70 area. It's got some room to run.
Yeah, it's been just kind of quiet here coming off the bottom. I mean, you really have basically almost 4 days of pretty close ranges. It traded between 32.72 and 33.57 for 4 days. That's pretty good consolidation. Now you look to be breaking out of the top of this. I think this would be one that if you did buy it off the open and you didn't get immediate follow through, I think I would use a stop at 33.38 or 39 if you're purchasing at this level. Because if it doesn't get that follow through back up to 34, could just sink right back down to the lower end of that 4 day range.
You wanted to highlight some of these oil stocks, Exxon Mobil and Chevron. Both did not have great days yesterday. This Chevron chart, I'm just looking at that. I'm going to draw that trend line a little bit better. But it's not looking that pretty, that chart, when you draw it on the trend line there. You've got this nice downtrend happening here. Obviously, the stock breaking down again yesterday.
Yeah, I mean you got a couple of the top components in the S&P. You got the Apple, and then your two oils that were kind of weak yesterday. Looking at the CVX, I mean every time it tries to mount a rally, it just gets beat back down. Looking at major support at this 102.76 yesterday, 102.76 low. That was a low on the 28th. Trading right around yesterday's low and close, so this 103.94.96 has double significance, unless this thing can get back over 104. Looks like we're heading south.
I drew a little pennant there for you on the chart from those lows just from earlier in November, and then obviously from the highs back
Yeah.
in September. So this is winding up here. So obviously look at that and maybe decide which way it starts to break down. Starts to break down below where it's at right now, I'd probably get nervous, and obviously if it starts getting back above 105, then get bullish. But right now it's winding up to do something, that's for sure. XOM had a tough day yesterday again. Stock breaking down almost $1, closing near the lows of the day. Not much trades here today, actually zero trades here so far today. But where do you think this one's heading?
Yeah, I mean that closed on the low of the day. So that definitely is not a bullish indicator at all. Getting absolutely no pop here in the pre-market. I just want our traders to be aware that you did have a low back on November 27th at 87.24. So you have a potential double bottom here based on what you're seeing in the pre-market. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So after that, keep an eye under the $87 level at the 86.77 low on November 20th.
Microsoft, you wanted to talk about this stock here. This has just been ugly. It just can't seem to mount any type of a rally. Here's another one where I could probably draw some ugly trends here, straight down basically from, well, straight down really since September. We've lost over 5 points here since we made that high up there in the 31.61 area. This stock just not looking that pretty on the chart, although we're hanging out near these lows. What's your take?
Like there's some stocks that you just like permanently bullish or permanently bearish. For some reason, I'm permanently bullish this stock. I
You're
don't know if
bullish
it's
this stock.
yeah, it hasn't been, good thing I haven't been acting on it in my portfolio. I don't know, it just might be part of my anti Apple persuasion. But you are coming in a major support here. 26.34 was the low yesterday. That coincides very nicely with the low here that you have on November 16th. Then also, I'm not sure if you can go all the way back to the beginning of last year. You had a gap from 26.12 to 26.39. Even though it ran over 32, I've been patiently waiting for this to come back and fill the gap here at the $26 level. Perhaps try and make a purchase there. You got a good yield on it. That gives you some downside protection. I know you were talking about this $24 level. I'd be very tempted to go a Labatt's Light on 28.44 versus 24.44.
24 looks absolutely enormous to me. I'd love to get a chance to buy it down here in the 24 area. Whether it gets there or not, I don't know. But the momentum, it's definitely, you don't think it has no chance to get to 20. I think it does have a chance to get to 24. I actually would take you up on that bet. I think it ticks about 24. I'm looking at this low back in November 25th, around 24.30. I think it could tick down there before it ticks back up and gets above 28. So I even, or 20, I guess I got to give you 28.40 so we can kind of keep it even. So I'd bet our usual bet if you want on that one, but I think it could get back down. I think if you're buying in this 26.34 area, use a tight stop. It starts to take out and break through 26. I think it could go lower. It's just not in favor right now. Although I do like the Surface product, I've said that on the show. I like the product that they've got. So, but it's just, the stock has just been a dog here for a long time, and the sentiment's just not. And it's all about sentiment. When you're trading, it's all about market sentiment. And obviously Microsoft has just not been in favor here for a very long time.
Well, and also, but also from a technical perspective, every time it makes a bunch of lows in the same area, it gets some kind of pop. It, did it here in the middle of November. Look at the similar formation that you had at the end of October. Then you got a pop there.
It likes to make multiple bottoms.
So this is it, man. This is it. You never even 24.40. Forget about it.
Forget not getting down to 24.40. I'm not shorting it here because I think there is. I don't know if it's a value trap, but there's definitely value down here. Whether it's the sentiment. I don't know when the sentiment changes though, and I'm waiting for that sentiment to change. Although from a technical basis, if this thing ever got to, you got to agree with me. If this thing ever got down to the 24s, it looks pretty good down there. But it's still $2 away. I just think you're early. I think you're early if you're buying here from an investment standpoint. You might get a trade. It may pop 50 cents or a buck off this level, but I don't think this is the bottom. I just don't. I think it's eventually going to try to head farther south, and obviously we're on the opposite coin there. So.
Okay, enough on Microsoft.
Overall market thoughts here. Obviously, the trend here is that we've been holding this 1400 area for the past couple of days. We bounced off the low overnight here again, 140150, which coincides nicely with the low from the day before, 140150. So if you guys were looking for a double bottom right in that 1400 area, you got it. So I don't know about the Apple breaking down, because Apple continues to break down here this morning. It's now at 568.79, but the market doesn't seem to care. What do you think? Can we hold that 140150?
I think you have an excellent reference points there, and then also on the upside, 1411.75 was yesterday's high. We peaked above that in the pre-market at 1413. So I think you got a major resistance point there to keep an eye on. So I mean, I think we're just going to bounce around here between 1401.50 and 1413 today. We'll find support if you come down to the close area around 1405, and then also just kind of sticking with that 50% retracement theme. 1404 is the 50% retracement of our move from 1468 to 1340. So to me it seems to be winding up in the 1400s here again for a little bit of a year-end rally.
That's our show for today, folks. Have a great trading day. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow.